The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
By tomorrow, I will rule the world!
You think he's gone? He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Is this some radical new therapy?
You see?
Well, I must have not been paying attention when you were just talking to me. Do you think that you could repeat
I smell nice, too.
What?
I said you smell nice too, though.
Oh, thank you.
Perfume just hit me.
Really? I smell good, yeah. I try.
Something in all of that nothing that wasn't quite so easy to see.
We'll try and get through this show without getting in trouble today.
When you were just talking to me.
That sounds like a lot easier of a task than it actually is.
I must have not been paying attention when you were busy slamming the door. I guess the things that pass for affection ain't the same as they were before.
Oh, I am so looking forward to getting in front of the New Hampshire Supreme Court next month.
Oh, God.
They drop me like a stone to
And the worst thing is I can't talk about it. That's the worst.
I must have missed.
I am great at keeping everyone else's secrets. I have secrets that I'll take to my grave that other people have told me, but I can't keep my own secrets.
I'm the same way,
That's
too.
so horrible. It's so horrible.
Why is that?
My lawyer calls me once a week.
Do we really hate ourselves that much? Or?
It's got to be. Because my lawyer calls me once a week screaming at me.
Hi.
Tom, I'm watching your Facebook page. You're going to get yourself in trouble. Knock it off. I'm like, stop watching my Facebook page. That's the problem.
I did it this time.
Three-part harmony. She was ready.
I'm going to mute my microphone. You don't need me anymore.
Oh, no, we need the Australian accent.
All right, fine.
Or is it South African now? I can't.
Mine's Australian. Your Siri thing that you think is Australian is South African.
Very close, though. It's very
there
close.
there is a similar dialect there, I will.
All right, what do you think? What do you say? Get this show on the road?
Let's do it.
I got nothing anyway, so I was going to make it up as we go along. Sometimes those are the best shows, though.
Sometimes.
All right, one more Papa, then we'll start.
You have nothing?
I really don't.
I'm nothing?
Wow. Yeah.
Thanks.
I meant for topics.
His brain will catch up. There you go.
You can tell I'm surrounded by women.
Yep.
You can tell I'm surrounded by women. It's the
Your
bane of
favorite. Your favorite, right?
Bane of my existence.
Right.
It's a blessing and a curse. Hi, how you guys doing? My name's Tom Duggan with the Paying Attention Podcast. Hiya, Top. Two guys smoke shop at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. Now, next week, we've got Jim Sarcione's coming in. He is running for mayor of Methuen against DJ Beauregard. And what I really wanted to do is I wanted to have them both in alone and have them both kind of make their pitch to you and then try and get them in here for a debate. But DJ has to play to the insiders, and he won't come on the show. So we're going to have Jim Sarcione on. And by the way, he's welcome if he'd like to change his mind, but I've reached out through several surrogates, and he does not want to make the insiders mad at him because he's petrified of controversy. I don't know how he's going to be mayor of Methuen and be petrified of controversy, because Methuen is the pinnacle of controversy, but we'll get there when we get there. Next week we got Jim Sarcione coming in, and then at the end of December, on our anniversary show, right around the 29th, I don't know what Thursday that is, but right around the 29th, when we're hitting our, is it 7th anniversary, 6th anniversary? She's just nodding yes to both.
You've been here that long. I haven't been here more than 3 or 4 years. I'm nodding because I'm like, I don't know.
No more Minesweeper during my show. I don't know what she's doing.
Excuse me, sir.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Excuse me, sir. I'm reading the Valley Patriot newspaper on my phone, actually.
Just giving you a hard time.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man, I'm surrounded
Look, see how it says live?
Yep.
I'm doing my job, sir, I swear.
Let's thank our sponsors, Century 21 McLennan Real Estate, A&J Goodwin Plumbing, Peralt Chiropractic on Woodland Street in Methuen, right near the YMCA. And we love those guys. They were actually advertisers with us like 10 years ago. And they were with us for a good 10 years.
Who, the YMCA?
No, the Peralt Chiropractic.
Oh, okay.
Which is across the street from the YMCA. Okay. Stadium Chiropractic in Lawrence, W3ON. Enterprise Bank, my great girls in Enterprise Bank. Love everybody at Enterprise Bank. Chris's Barbershop, where I'm going right after the show to get my hair cut on Main Street in Salem, New Hampshire. 11 restaurant in Lawrence. Now, I have to get back there. We were there for the grand opening. It was great, but I have not been back, so I'm going to see if maybe...
what kind of food do they have there?
It's, it's high-end...
It's not like leaning towards anything.
No,
like
well,
Italian.
there's Spanish food because they're Latinos that own it. But it's kind of like if you took an Andover restaurant, plucked it out of Andover, and stuck it on Essex Street.
Ooh,
so it's kind of like a high end.
Got it.
And
so they came to compete with the high end restaurant in Andover. Is that what you're saying?
It's very interesting to see a high end restaurant open on Essex Street.
On Essex Street, yeah.
In Lawrence, it really kind of seems out of place. However, every time I drive by, the place is full. So they're doing something right. They're doing something right.
Shout out to 11.
Yep. 11 restaurant. Prime Insurance, the Doug Mercurio Law Office. Patrick's Eatery, which is actually Harrison's, which is also now Better Burger Bar. AFC Urgent Care. Clear Path for Veterans New England. Tomo and Shaken Seafood. The Bonfire Wellness Center, EIS Investigation. Marston and Son Construction. And the Zanny Pesci Law Office. All right, now, in the studio with me today is a very special guest. You all know, if you follow me on Facebook, you know her as Intern Girl. She is Carlota Castillo. And, I've had numerous interns over the years, and I just decided after the last two, they were such a nightmare, like literal nightmares to deal with, that I just decided I wasn't going to do interns anymore.
Yes, I remember you telling me that.
And I was like, you know what? If I have to flounder on my own, I'm just going to flounder on my own because I'm not dealing with this crap anymore. But you contacted me.
Yes,
and
I did.
You said, you liked what we do, and you seem to be very well versed in what the paper did and what the podcast did, and all the other interns that I had, I reached out looking for help, and so I ended up finding people, and I said, maybe I was just doing it wrong. Maybe I just needed someone
to come to you.
That was genuinely interested in what we do. Because the last time I had an intern, she came in. I handed her a newspaper, and I said, if you're going to be my intern, you have to be familiar with what we do. Read the paper. And when I say read the paper, I don't mean flip through it and look at the pictures. I mean read the editorial. Even if you're not interested in dogs, read the dog column. Even if you're not interested in real estate, read the real estate column. Just get familiar with what we do. And for the 11th intern in a row, I would quiz her about stuff without her realizing I was quizzing her.
Oh, please don't quiz me.
And no, I already did. And you
did.
You got like 100% like right across the board. But all my other interns, I couldn't get them to actually just take the time to learn about what they were being involved in. And so I think at the end of all of those intern terms, for lack of a better phrase, it didn't end well because they weren't vested in what they were doing.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think that, it's not so much only the Valley Patriots, also knowing what's going on. You have to stay current if, you are working with media or with press, right? So I am constantly reading. I read some of your favorite papers, the Democratic, New York Times, which is my ultimate favorite. I read it every single day. So I'm always, current. So in that way, I guess, that probably goes to my advantage.
It's also hard to find people your age who are interested in the news and who also... How do I say this diplomatically without insulting an entire generation?
Just do it.
Well, just show the fuck up on time.
Yeah.
Like if you say you're going to be there on Thursday at 2, and I've rearranged my schedule so that you can be there Thursday at 2, don't call me at 4 o'clock and say, gee, I'm sorry I didn't come today, but something came up. Like beforehand, like the courtessy, let me know so I can restructure my day. And it was very, very difficult. And then I had this one intern that she was a psychological wreck before she got to me.
Oh.
And then you know how
she got even worse after, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure.
You know how I joke about everything, right? And she took everything personal. Like every little thing that I said was like dealing with Snowflake Central. And so finally I was just like, look.
I'm pretty sarcastic and I just respect everybody. Like, you have your own opinions. I have mine. Why can't we just, coincide like more people? But besides that, thank you so much, Tom, for, accepting my personal invite to be your intern. It really means a lot. You have done a lot for the community and you continue to do, that the homeless and all of that.
My
That's
ass
huge.
will get you everywhere.
I know. You told me. That's why I'm doing that. But besides that, I did get you a little gift.
Oh, come on.
Because
and I didn't get you anything.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, this is for you.
So I can NyQuil, because I never sleep. ZQuil. That's hilarious. Excellent.
I know how much you like it. How long is that going to last you?
Oh, that maybe a couple of days. At best, that's a couple of days.
Get some rest. I think you deserve it, no?
Usually, it's a Saturday, right? Like Friday night, I'm either out or I'm in the office doing stuff, and then like when I finally crash Friday night from the week, like around 4:30, 5 o'clock, I'll take NyQuil or whatever I've got in my office to sleep, and I'll just go out for like a good 12, 13 hours. I'll wake up at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday.
Oh my God,
and
I do that sometimes.
37,000 messages.
I do that.
And crazy. And how is Alejandro?
Alejandro's doing really
Was
good.
he
He's
really
in
named
school.
after Alejandro's sons?
Yes, he was.
Okay, all right.
That's a big secret. You just exposed me.
I'm sorry.
He was named after Alejandro Sanz. I don't know
I know
if
you
people
guys
know who
knew
that
each
is.
other. You dated a little bit, you and Alejandro Sanz.
No, I wish.
I thought that was you.
I think that was Shakira. And I know how much you appreciate her and love
She's
her, right?
coming to Fenway Park.
She is.
I think in July of next year.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going.
Do you like Shakira with the black hair, or do you like Shakira with the blonde hair?
No,
Which
no.
one?
The best Shakira. When I fell in love with her was when she did her MTV special when she had red hair.
Oh, okay. The Unplugged. Unplugged.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as anybody who knows me know, red hair is my kryptonite.
It is. I remember you telling me that. Well,
Yeah.
I like Shakira with the black hair when she used to do like Spanish rock.
I think
That's
the blonde hair
mine.
is the worst. Like, if you had to rate them, I think
The blonde hair
would be
is the worst.
the least attractive. She's still hot as hell, but she's less attractive than with the
No,
black
and she's
hair.
more like mainstream. Like she's
Pop.
not, very pop, and I don't know. That's just very general to me.
So the last time I saw Shakira, it was at the Worcester Centrum, which they call something else now. Everything has a different name. If you live long enough, everything gets renamed before you die. And so I was at what used to be called the Centrum, and she came out and she did this big political speech with George Bush in the background with a puppet of Saddam Hussein, and they're fighting each other, and then there's a big mushroom cloud, and I'm like, shut the F up. I'm here to listen to you sing, not preach at me about the war in Iraq. Like, what are you doing? But see, she's not American. And so when you're from other countries, I guess that's just part of what they do. They weave politics into everything that they do. And I was a little turned off by it.
A lot of artists actually do that.
Yeah.
They tend to...
I generally walk out, but I'm not walking out on Shakira.
Oh, you can't do that to her. But they generally sometimes, like, they don't want to sing. They want to, preach. And it's, no, we're not here for that.
Right.
Like, we're here to hear your music. We're
Shut
your
up and
fans.
sing.
Just sing and dance and
Right.
make us happy.
Right.
Like, that's what we're paying for. We don't care what you think.
I don't want to know what my favorite actor's politics are. I
don't
want to know
care.
what my favorite singer's politics are.
I don't care
If I
either.
want politics, I put on CNN. If I want entertainment, I go to a singer, an actor, a movie actor, a TV actor.
And you know what, Tom? They are so far away from reality.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. Like, for example, the whole Kamala Harris campaign at the end when they brought in Beyonce, they brought in all these wonderful people. I'm like, these people don't know how we live.
Right.
They're so far away from the truth. You know what I'm saying? So I don't care what they say. I don't care what they do. To be honest with you, I just like their music. I respect their craft and their hard work. But that doesn't mean you have to come and influence me in that way. I have my own way of thinking depending on my surroundings.
Yeah,
So.
I have a theory about why all that happens, though. I think that there are people in the government that blackmail these people and force them to do some of those things.
I don't think they get forced. I think they get paid.
Really?
Yeah, they do get paid. Absolutely.
Because I look at
think some
J-Lo and
people didn't-
Beyonce, and they're both connected to Diddy, and all of a sudden, right after he gets raided, they're endorsing Kamala Harris.
Yeah, that's odd.
Right.
And not only that, I read somewhere, reading the news, like I always do. I guess Oprah Winfrey was on, Kamala's thing, but she got paid. I think she got paid like $1 million.
Over $1 million.
Over $1 million just to do that. So that's supposed to influence me. To listen to you and follow your lead? Absolutely not. You're the most selfish person in the world.
I say this all the time. Everything today is fake. Everything.
Everything's
We
fake.
even found out that the Biden administration was paying like TikTok influencers and podcasters, like low-level podcasters across the country, to endorse him and push him with the younger people. And they spent millions of dollars doing this, but they were denying that they were doing it. They were denying they were doing it, which is a violation of campaign finance laws.
Yeah.
But the podcasters themselves were coming out and saying, I'm turning back the money. I'm not doing this anymore. They're trying to pay me. And I don't want any part of this anymore because they saw the plane crashing.
Yeah.
Everyone but CNN and the Democrat Party.
How is that
saw the
even
plane
legal?
crashing.
How is that even legal to push an agenda like that? You censor people, what they think, but then it's okay for you to pay the media to say what you want?
Right.
That makes no sense. That's that's not.
Think about it. If the mayor of Lawrence buys an ad in the Valley Patriot and he puts in a half-page ad, it has to say paid for by the DePina committee or
Exactly.
whatever the name of his committee is. So the same is true if you're running for Congress or president. You'll notice at the end of every Trump Trump ad. It says paid for by the Donald Trump committee. So how is it that the Democrats get away with paying TikTok influencers and podcasters to push their message and endorse them and not disclose that? And I just hope that, not out of retribution, but just out of making things fair, that when the Trump administration comes in, they just get to the bottom of all of that. And even if it was happening on their side, everyone across the board. Or even
enforce it. It's not so much about doing the investigation, because that's just going to take a lot of time. And we have more serious issues to worry about. But at least when they do come in, at least enforce it. Make sure that the media is following along. And, the censorship needs to stop, because it is a real thing. It really is.
It's amazing how many people try to tell me, the guy who's been in the media now for 35 plus years, that it was Trump and the Trump people that were a threat to democracy and a free press, while I watched the Biden administration put a guy in prison for designing a meme on Twitter. So this guy designed a meme on Twitter that said during the last election, 2 elections ago, that if you're voting for Hillary Clinton, text your vote to like 7115.
Okay.
But it was a joke designed to mock how stupid Hillary Clinton supporters are. They put this guy in jail.
They did.
They put him in jail, calling it election interference, saying that he was deceiving voters into thinking they could vote via text, when anyone with a brain cell knows you can't vote by text. It's never been a thing. It's not a thing now. It's not anything that he even proposed. That guy right now is still sitting in jail.
Where in the law does that say that?
He's sitting in jail. It's on election interference. And they found some obscure federal code. They indicted this guy who created a meme. Like, the guy's not violent. We have violent people walking around that we can't keep in prison, and this guy's sitting in a federal cell right now.
Federal.
Yes.
It wasn't state. Wow, that's incredible. So that's what they're using their time on to try to do that.
And the Obama administration investigated James Rosen at Fox News, who's now, I think, at CBS, and at least 3 members of CNN stole their emails, listened to their parents' phone calls, stole their parents' text messages and emails and phone logs. And yet people try to convince me that it's Donald Trump that's the threat to the press. Yeah, he hates the media, but he's not talking about putting them in jail. He's not prosecuting people for memes.
He wants to enforce the laws.
Right.
And and also, grant us our freedom of speech, be able to express ourselves and share our thoughts on things. But keep talking. I have to look something up so I can share it.
Oh, all right. Very good. So I didn't really bring in any topics today. We've got a bunch of things going on locally. It's kind of we've got the FBI raided the office of a state rep yesterday. Gave me absolutely no pleasure to post that, but it is true. I've confirmed it 15 different ways. And now everybody wants the details, right? Because nobody can be patient about anything anymore. Everyone wants it yesterday so they can forget about it tomorrow.
Yeah. So there was going back before we dive into that conversation, going back to the whole media thing of like Hillary Clinton. So I guess yesterday, Poly Market's CEO, he got raided by the FBI because his platform was predicting that Trump was going to win.
Outrageous.
It's all over the place. It's like, what did he do wrong? And, he didn't get arrested. They just removed, they went to his business and they took all his electronics and all of that. And it's like, because he bet and he said that he, Donald Trump was going to win. How is that even possible?
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez released a video 2 days ago on Twitter saying, if you're a conservative and you voted for Trump, can you comment below this video and let me know what podcasts were you listening to? What influenced you? Well, we know what that's about. They want to put another enemies list together so they can start going after these people and get their friends in the FCC or their friends in
They're trying to separate.
Absolutely,
that's just dividing the country even more. Yep. Why is it has to be 2 ways?
But it was Donald Trump that was a threat to democracy. The people who took the duly nominated president for the Democrat Party and pushed him aside and coronated Kamala Harris, who never got a vote at all in this election, coronated her as the candidate, telling us that it's the other side that's the threat. I always say they're always guilty of what they accuse their opponents of doing. Always.
Yeah. Yep. That makes no sense. But going back now to the other conversation about the rating yesterday. So I guess my issue with all of that is not so much that took place, is that there's never an official news. Like no one ever sends an official statement. Like how important is that for people? Because if you do that, you actually might be saving yourself from rumors, from people going around with conspiracy theories and all of these things. Like someone needs to come out and they need to share what it is that is going on. Right. Like, in any way, if they say, we're just investigating or whatever it is, any official statement, I think that just makes things a little bit easier for everybody.
I have followed the feds through Lawrence for the last 15 years. I've gone to secret raids in the middle of the night. I've done a lot of that stuff.
How do you know? How did you find out about all of that?
There's always somebody who kind of tips you off. There's always someone who says you might want to be around Thorndike Street around 3 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. And so I'll sit there at 2 and just kind of wait and sit in my car and get video. I'm always very mindful coming from a police family not to do anything live anymore when it comes to that stuff. But after having watched those things happen over and over in Lawrence over the years, generally speaking, and I'm not saying that's the case here, but generally speaking, when they go in and they raid an office like that, it's usually they're done their investigation.
Okay.
And now they're looking for, they have the information that they need. They've done the investigation. They've kind of brought themselves to a conclusion, and now they need to catch the person that they're targeting in possession of whatever those documents are.
Okay.
So
they need the evidence.
So they can make an indictment stick.
Okay.
And a lot of times, and I'm getting the crap kicked out of me all day today. My phone's blowing up. My email's blowing up. People are saying, it's not fair what you're doing. You're not telling us anything other than the FBI raided his office. Here's why. Every single thing that I've been told and have confirmed hurts the investigation if I talk about it publicly.
Got it. Makes sense.
Also, there's a possibility that the state rep's office that they raided is not the target of the investigation. Remember, he's got a tax service. He's got a property. He owns a lot of properties. It could be a client of his. It could be someone who works for him. So I don't want to sully his name. I got the story yesterday around noon. I'm still sitting on it. All I posted was that the FBI raided the state rep's office because it's everywhere.
Because it's everywhere, and that's the only information that we have that is concrete.
Right.
But why isn't that they give a statement? When Carol Flass, the single mother in Lawrence that got murdered. So when that whole thing was going on, there was a lot of uncertainty in the city, and not once did they come out and give a statement to say, this is not this is not a targeted thing or whatever it is. But give us more information because we're worried, we're concerned, we're from the same community. We have every right to at least calm the people. At least tell us what's going on.
It's not fair to the person whose office is raided that he might not be the target, and yet this is what's being said.
Because they're not saying anything, though.
Right.
If you're quiet, you're allowing other people to speak for you. So you need to come out and you need to say a statement, a professional one.
Right.
Is there any communications? The politicians around here, I am very thankful and grateful. I don't want to say anything too strong, but they need to organize themselves. I think around that and communications.
Well, we're talking about this off the air. One of the problems that most politicians pay attention, all of you,
attention
and take notes because this is a huge frustration of mine. If you're an elected official, you have to realize that a reporter like me, not just me, but reporters like me, are covering 30 communities. Now, think about Lawrence. You get 9 city councilors, 6 school committee members, plus a mayor, plus a library board of trustees, a zoning board of appeals, a planning board. That's roughly 35 people, right? In every community. Yep. I can't know everything in every community that's going on in every public board. It's on you to pick up the phone, Jonathan Guzman, and call and say, hey, Tom.
Congratulations on your feature.
Something is coming up and the school committee's taking a vote and you need to know there's going to be a big controversy and I have a big objection and here's what's going on, and talk to me on the record so I can write a story, because if you spend all your time talking to Spanish language press, I know it makes you feel better because those are mostly your constituents. However, who's paying the fucking bill? North Andover, Dracut, Andover, Methuen. It's the surrounding suburbs that are paying the bill in Lawrence.
Okay.
90% of the money that Lawrence spends comes from outside the city.
Okay.
So you should be talking to the stakeholders, not just your voters. You should be talking to the people that are paying the bills and letting them know what's going on with their money. And, I'm not Spanish language media, right? So it's hard for you to reach to your constituents through me unless it's the Anglo constituents or the old school Dominicans that speak perfect English. However,
I understand.
You got to reach to the people that are paying the frickin' bill. And,
I understand.
And those are my readers.
I know, but I understand. But I think on his end, he's also, he's doing things for the people. He's not so much about, where's the money coming from. He's really representing the bigger, pool of people, which is really the constituents of the city.
But the constituents aren't making the decisions.
No, they're not.
It's the Department of Ed at the state level. It's the governor's office. It's the state reps. Well, who motivates them? It's the suburbs. It's the suburbs in every election that determine those elections, that put all those state reps in, that vote for all that money to go to Lawrence. So, like I said, it's great to go on Spanish language radio and be hailed as a hero for the day. That's great. However, if you want to make a real difference, you've got to talk to the people paying the bills.
Okay.
And when the people of North Andover go, hey, you know, I like what's going on in Lawrence, or I don't like what's going on in Lawrence, and they call Adrian Ramos, the state rep in North Andover, I guarantee you things change.
But, you know, I get it. I understand what you're trying to say. But at the same time, when you do come to the media, when you do, you know, speak to the people that are paying the bills, they're always looking for something negative for the most part. And you know that. You know that we're often attacked. We're often looked at, you know, like in a needle. We're micromanaged, whatever it is that you want to say. But it is the truth. It's very negative. A lot of feedback that we receive. So it's like sometimes it's just better just to keep it all in the circle. Like, you know, everybody around each other and supporting one another. So
how's that working out?
That's the thing. It's not working out. It's not.
All right, well, let's talk about you a little bit because I want people to understand who you are. You're obviously now a member of the Valley Patriot family, so our audience should know who you are.
Okay.
I loved watching your podcast. I'm still trying to get through the 2 that I'm trying to watch.
Okay.
But I do catch it. I go back for 4 or 5 minutes at a time and catch it. Who are you? Why are you? Excuse me. Who are you? Why are you involved in this stuff? Talk about your podcast.
Yeah.
Why did you start it? What is it about?
Yeah, so, you know, from every situation that it's like negative in your life, something great comes out of, I guess. And let me tell you something, the last 5 years have been insane for me. Like, I've lost my mother, I separated, I'm a single mother. I just been through a lot of, you know, different things. And I've always been such a
Now you're in love with the newspaper guy.
The Intern Girl. By the way, I want to give a shout out to some of your followers who have been sending me messages. I will not expose them, but I just want to say hi and thank you for you know, thinking that I look very nice. So I appreciate it.
Okay.
So I have a podcast I launched last year, and I really wanted to make it a space where, you know, the community can come and kind of share what's going on, like a resource, like a media center. You know, I also want to be a voice for people like myself, or mothers like me who have kids and, you know, they're constantly working, the millennials, you know, that sort of group. We don't really have anything really organized where people can go to, you know, a resource such as yourselves. Because I feel like, you know, I don't know do you know how many people like read the paper, like the generations and the age group and all of that?
We have raw numbers, and we have financial demographics. So we know that we have about 22,000 readers.
Okay.
And we have the vast majority of our readers are 36,000 and up in income.
Okay.
So very few, very poor people reading us, but lots of people in the middle.
So you do it based on the financial part. Well, I'm doing it more on the generational and cultural part. I am a Dominican-born immigrant. I arrived here back in 2001.
20 extra points.
Just to be in Dominican? Yep. Thank you. I arrived here in 2001 through the legal way, because I know you're listeners, with a permanent residence. And yeah, I just started this podcast. It's going great. The name of it is Cold Castle Podcast. Please visit YouTube. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. And I'm also on Spotify. Reach out if you have any questions. And I am looking for some sponsors. So if you guys have, you know, anything that you want to throw my way, please help.
You sponsor this show first, and then if you want an upsell, you go to her.
Well, depending on what I'm telling you, the type of people that listen, if that's your demographics, then absolutely reach out to me for that. So
would you say that the majority of the people that listen to your podcast are younger, like people your age and
people my age? Yeah,
so
I would say
it's
millennials, some Gen X as well, and
it's weird that we have
middle class.
For the paper, most of the age group that we've at least 5 years ago, we haven't seen any number since, was generally much older. But for the podcast, generally much younger.
Yes. Yeah. So podcast is a huge thing in our generation. I think that's probably like the new thing, you know, like that's like the way to get really information out there. A lot of business owners at the moment who really want to share their services, or they just want to talk. People are leaning more towards learning about things through podcasts. So you can kind of give a story and give knowledge. People want to learn, you know. And
I'm even starting to watch podcasts. I've never watched podcasts.
Who's your favorite podcaster? Besides me?
I love Joe Rogan. I like Theo Vaughn. And then I just kind of surf around and see like who's out there and who's doing. There's a whole bunch of podcasts where it's like a bunch of minority, like Black or Latino men and women sitting around, like 5 or 6 people at once, just kind of talking about like relationships.
Or they're like drinking, they're taking like drinking shots, or it's like, I don't like those type. I like the ones where you can kind of learn. So can I name some of my favorite ones?
Sure.
So I really like Alofoque, who is based in the Dominican Republic, but in a way, like he also like integrates with our lives here. And there's also the science one that I listen to, which is under Alofoque as well. It's called El Recetario. They give like really good information on health
she say that's so
and
cute?
stuff like that. What? El Recetario?
Yeah, that's so cute.
Thank you. But no, I think our generation is definitely using podcasts to educate themselves and, to get our brains going. We're not so much about having fun. We like to also learn. And
I can't get them to pick up the paper. I can't get your generation to pick up the paper, but they all watch my podcast.
Yeah, I think more visual things like I've shared with you, that kind of posts, on Instagram with like a visual with your logo so it can kind of, imprint in people's eyes. That repetition, that repetitive is what really works with the millennials. There's strategies around it. You have to kind of look at your strategy now for marketing and then see like, okay, this is the route I'm trying to go. And you have to organize yourself and say, okay, these are the constituents now I want to reach. How can I reach them? What can I do to make it relatable so that they can pick it up or they can kind of, support.
And that's where you come in. That's what I'm doing. Exactly. And at the same time, I'm learning from you because, I didn't go to school for media or anything like that. So, and I think that if I really want to make this work, I have to do the work. I have to do the groundwork and I have to learn and study. And that's what I liked about you. That's why I broke my own rule and said, okay, I'm going to do one more intern. And if this one doesn't work, I'm never doing it again.
But so far, so good.
So far, so good. Absolutely.
I do interns like things. I brought you some ZQuil. I went food shopping the other day.
You did? Grocery Girl was not available, and all of a sudden you stepped in and took care of it for me. I appreciate that.
Because I know how hard you work, so I want to make sure, I'm doing my internship part as well. That's part of it, right? The dirty work, I guess.
Yeah. Plus, I'm constantly now chained to my computer when I'm not working on the paper, working on this new book project. So
nice.
So it just keeps me in the office, and it keeps me not capable of going out and doing a lot of the things that I really probably should be doing. So having an intern helping you with that is all.
And what are some of those things that you will be doing if you're not writing a book?
Going to the post office and getting checks and going to see advertisers and doing the one-on-one stuff. Like before I got sick last year, one of the things that I used to really enjoy doing that I still can't do is, go to like Colizzi Memorials. They've been advertising with us for 20 years. And just kind of saying hi and let them know that I'm still here and that I care about their business. And even though their ad hasn't changed in 20 years and
just to network, and it's always good to see what's going on.
Right.
If there's anything new, any updates or anything going on.
Because when you're not around, people forget. And all of a sudden, they start looking at their bill, and they go, well, I haven't seen this guy in a long time. Why are we doing this?
Why are we still paying this? Can we cut this out? Yeah. So
I like to try to have that one-on-one with people, and also businesses that like do a lot of things for the community. We got the new guys that own Borelli's Deli, right? So they're not advertising with us right now, but they donate a lot of food to TMF for the homeless.
Okay.
So when I'm out, I like to stop in and say hi to the Tamakios and go in and just kind of let them know that I appreciate that, even though you're not spending money with me right now, and I'm sure they'll come back at some point, but the fact that you're taking money out of your own pocket and you're donating food, cooked food, and sending your workers and paying them to come to TMF and serve the food to the homeless, that's huge for any business to undertake and to do. And I just kind of want to let them know that, like, I appreciate that. So those are some of the things I can't do anymore.
But there's other ways around it. There's so many other outlets where you can reach those people. The whole social media part, or, you can reach out through email, or you can send them, just information here and there.
Right.
It doesn't have to be in person anymore. I mean, it's a new world now. So you definitely
one of the things that I'm starting to try to do more is, now that I'm feeling a lot better, is like I went to the mayor's fundraiser. I hadn't been to a political fundraiser since last year before I got sick.
Okay.
And just being there and talking to a bunch of people, I learned an awful lot of things that it would have taken me 6 weeks of phone calls to find out just from bumping into someone who says, hey, did you hear what I heard?
Yeah.
And
events are great.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree
And
with you 100%. I'm actually going to an event tonight. The YMCA has invited me to their annual meeting at the Vault in Lawrence. So I look forward to being there. Thanks, Frank Keneally. But
Frank's a good guy.
Yeah, he is a good guy. He's a basketball guy.
And he's a big supporter of TMF.
He is?
Very helpful with the homeless.
That's good. Yeah,
Very
I worked at the
helpful.
Y for over 8 years, and they were just amazing with me, and I learned so much from them. So I'm very appreciative of them.
What do you talk about on your podcast? Why should people tune in?
Yeah, so I pretty much bring community leaders at the moment. You know, every season is different. I'm going to start now season 2, where I'm trying to now reach more audience in the Haverhill area. I'm trying to go outside more of like Drake-It, more, you know, different demographics. But it's really about anything. I just want to like have conversations and learn from the person that I have there, or just also share my perspective on what's going on. So I think that's what my podcast is about. Season 1 was, you know, I do have a little bit of entertainment as well. I did one on like single moms dating. I did one
How did I miss that one?
that was like one of my first ones. So
I'm a big fan of single moms.
Yeah.
Well, at least helping them get their start.
Oh my goodness.
That's an old Steve Martin joke. I couldn't help myself.
Then I did one on cuffing season, which is my most viewed one, which is talking about, you know, what cuffing season is, right? So cuffing season is like a term in millennials where when it starts to get cold, you start looking for a relationship so you're not lonely and stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
But it never works out because when spring comes, it goes off. So that's what the cuffing season comes from. But I've had some amazing entrepreneurs as well. I had Kevin Valdez from Town Livery. I had Natasha Jimenez. She is a photographer on there as well. And, you know, they were just sharing what they do for the community. They were sharing about their business and giving people advice also on, you know, how to maintain a business and the things that they need and that sort of thing. But
how do people find your podcast?
Yep. So you can find me on you can find me on Instagram under Cold Castle Podcasts. You can also find me on YouTube and Spotify, Cold Castle Podcast. So it's cold, like you're cold, and castle, like you live in a castle, because castle means Castillo, and that's my last name.
I see. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. But yeah, thanks. Please tune in and reach out if you have any questions or if you want to sponsor.
Well, I'm looking forward to when is your next podcast?
So I will be having some really cool event this weekend. I'm going to have some young girls come to my studio, which is in my house.
Define young girls.
Like young basketball players, like middle school.
Like high school?
No, middle school.
Oh, middle school kids.
Yeah,
okay.
middle school from the Sueños basketball. They're going to come, and they always try to, you know, expose them to what's going on around the city and, you know, different things that they can do to motivate kids and stuff. And I'm a huge advocate for that. I'm huge on kids, like, you know, doing better for them and making sure that, you know, they have access to resources. Anyways, so they're going to be coming. We're going to, you know, I'm going to get some pizza. I'm going to show them, you know, how to use the systems and the visuals and audio and all of that. So kind of like explaining to them how to do a podcast and everything that I take into plan so that they can understand how that works. Because, you know, it's definitely a big topic right now. But next week I will be having someone from Haverhill. He's brothers of your dear friend, Jocelyn. Charlie, he has a pub in Haverhill. So he's going to come and kind of talk about, because he also has a podcast. Okay. And we're going to talk about what it is that he's talking about. So
nice.
Yeah, it's very fun, his podcast. So
did you see Jocelyn just got married?
Yes, I did.
My God.
Congratulations.
Are those not the greatest wedding pictures you've ever seen in your life?
I don't, like, personally, I've seen her around, but I don't personally know her, but congratulations.
No, the wedding pictures are great. You have something coming up, my dear fine producer?
I have multiple things coming up. Anything specific? We got music bingo over at Sadie's Bar and Grill tonight here in Salem, New Hampshire, starting at 6:30. Actually, this month our charity of the month we're back to Isaiah 58 again.
Nice. Carrie Weiland is one of the greatest people alive.
Yeah, so normally they focus on kids. It's something like Kids for Christmas. Well, it has been the last few years. Carrie would have more of the information, but this year I believe the focus is going to be on the homeless, so housing and caring for the homeless. I mean, she does it every year anyway, but I think we're for the fundraiser. That one is specifically for us.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to promote?
Come down to the Worthen Attic in Lowell this Saturday
You're
night.
playing at the Worthen?
Yeah, we'll be there.
You do realize that
Tumbletoads.
that's the song at the
you
end
sing?
of the show.
Oh,
You sing?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Can you
she's-
sing us a song really quick?
Yeah,
please?
well, no, come see us on Saturday. It's
Oh,
called
okay.
a teaser.
Pay for that.
Well, yeah, come down to the Worthen on Saturday. My band,
So you do-
Tumbletoads and Dog Ate Dog, are playing. Forgive me, the third band playing. I'm not as familiar with them yet, but I guarantee they're amazing. So, yeah.
You
come
do
down
realize
there
the song
Saturday
at the end of the show is the Worthen.
No, I don't.
That's Melvin Taylor, the song that we end the song with.
Yeah.
Is the Worthen. He wrote that about the Worthen in
Oh,
Lowell.
I
He
didn't
wrote
know. I
that.
didn't
Yeah.
know that. That's awesome. Well,
Yes,
there you
Sergeant,
go.
meet me at the Worthen.
Well, it'll be my first time there.
How about
so I'll have
that?
the history now.
I'm
But yeah,
gonna- and when are you going to be there?
Saturday night. So I
This
think,
week?
yeah, this Saturday.
Oh,
yeah.
maybe I'll get down
It's
there.
muy importante.
Maybe. I don't have
Come
anything
listen
to
music.
do.
Yeah.
I
Live
love the
music.
Worthen. I used to spend
Yeah.
a lot of
Support.
when I drank. I used to spend a lot of time getting drunk there.
Yeah.
When I
Yeah.
used to drink.
Yeah, I want to say doors.
Drinks on Tom.
I'm not sure what time doors open. I think music starts at 8 or 8:30.
Okay.
Get there. Yeah, get there before 8.
All right.
Come support.
Maybe
And
I
do you have
will.
anything else you want to impart before we go?
No,
Time
I
goes
want
by
to
so
give.
fast.
I know. I just want to give a shout out to my kids.
Yeah,
I
go
know it's
ahead.
cliche and everything,
fine.
but Alejandro and Albert, I love you guys so much.
Aw.
I love you, my
Oh, we
boys.
all
They're
love you
such
so much.
such
Oh,
good
you're so
kids.
beautiful.
Oh, so
Yeah,
beautiful.
Kiss the cheeks.
Thank you, Tom, for having me. I
You're welcome,
appreciate it.
All right, the Valley Patriot is on the streets as we speak. I think North Andover has not been done yet because we had an issue with one of the drivers, but North Andover will get done by this weekend, I promise you. Let's thank our sponsors. Free shout out to Harrow's Pies. Thank you to Wally at Harrow's Pies for helping the homeless. AJ Goodwin Plumbing, Peralt Chiropractic, W3ON Enterprise Bank, Chris's Barbershop, 11 Restaurant in Lawrence, Prime Insurance, the Doug Mercurio Law Office, Patrick's Eatery, which is Harrison's, which is Better Burger Bar, which is probably something else by the time I've done the show, Pleasant Valley Landscaping Contractors, AFC Urgent Care, Clear Path for Veterans New England, Tomo and Shaken Seafood, the Bonfire Wellness Center in North Andover, EIS Investigation and Gun Training, Marston and Son Construction, the Zany Pesci Law Office, and Century 21 McLennan Real Estate.
Yeah, so good.
Sounds like Melvin Taylor says you got to go
Perfect
home from the
timing.
Worthen, so go home already.
The
Bye,
views
everyone.
and
Thank you.
opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.